Train's heading for a tunnel up ahead.
Let's greet them at the station.
The future of our world is at stake.
You have a mission.
How do I look? Fresh.
On March 8th.
Is this normal?
Pretty much.
Go higher. Go further. Go faster.
About to show these boys how we do it.
Captain Marvel.
You know you're glowing, right?
This film contains scenes that may be too intense for younger viewers.
Hey everybody, it's Charlie. We got a whole bunch of new Captain Marvel Super Bowl trailer footage to break down, so let's do it. There's a new round of the Amazon giveaway. All you have to do to enter is be a subscriber and leave your favorite Captain Marvel moment on the video. You probably spotted some super deep cuts for the Captain Marvel comics if you're a big longtime fan of the character. Also talk about what's going on with the supposed Avengers Endgame trailer that's going to drop during the Super Bowl, and what Samuel L. Jackson was saying about her time traveling in the MCU. So first big part, we get a longer version of the scene where Captain Marvel is fighting the Skrulls on the Los Angeles train, this time on top. Like we've seen versions of this footage in the other trailers. She's fighting a dude on top of the trailer, so it's not clear whether or not it's the exact same Skrull that was impersonating the little old lady that she keeps fighting in the other scenes.
They're shapeshifters.
But it's all part of this longer train sequence, like we see her walk into the depot looking around, and then you get the slam cuts to her punching the old lady. It's all an early part of the film before Nick Fury really gets to know her. So we get some actual Coulson dialogue where he's like, head this way, and Nick Fury's like, no, we'll catch him at the station. That's probably this scene here where he comes up on her and tries to find out why it is she's going around punching little old ladies. Because remember, at this point in the film, he doesn't know anything about Skrulls being shapeshifters, so it looks like she's really just going around punching old ladies and trying to fight regular commuters on the Los Angeles train. There was a moment during that last video I posted about the pager where they're kind of fumbling with it and it says with target right now. The pager is talking about Captain Marvel. She is the target in the early part of the film before they find out the truth of what's going on. And Nick Fury's like, wait a minute, so you're telling me Skrulls can look like anybody? So when she first arrives on Earth, for like that first brief part before Nick Fury actually starts to get to know her, she is technically their antagonist, even though she's the hero of the movie. There's that big running plot line in the movie about false identity, false memories, people remembering their past, finding out that people have been lying to you. So all the character relationships are a little mixed up when the movie picks up, because she thinks that she's a Kree, Nick Fury thinks that she's some kind of serial killer going around trying to kill innocent people, and then Nick Fury's boss, who's Talos the Skrull, tries to use S.H.I.E.L.D. and turn Nick Fury against her and treat her more like the enemy, when really she's been misled this whole time and rediscovers her identity and wants to help get rid of both the Skrulls and the Kree with the help of Nick Fury. So even though they seem pretty earnest, I think there's supposed to be a lot of funny moments with them treating each other like enemies when the movie picks up until they really figure out what's going on. Then there's a scene of her with Monica Rambeau as a little kid, huge Captain Marvel comic book Easter egg, in confirming that Monica Rambeau is a character in the MCU. There was some earlier footage that I talked about in my last video, but it was kind of blurry, so it wasn't absolutely confirmed, but this just absolutely confirms it, because they're at her mother's house, Maria Rambeau, her former Air Force co-pilot. So there's a whole bunch of Easter eggs in this really short, brief scene here. One, it confirms that she remakes her Kree Star Force green uniform into the classic Captain Marvel comic book costume at Maria Rambeau's house with her friend's help. But on top of that, it's also probably where she truly rediscovers her full backstory, reclaims her identity as Carol Danvers, because up to this point in the movie, before she remembers who she is, the Kree just referred to her as Vers, as in like Danvers with the Dan cut off. Because this is actually kind of a funny Easter egg for earlier in the film. When she gets into the accident with the Psyche Magnetron and gets blown up effectively and is lying there, loses her memory, part of her dog tag gets broken, so the Kree find her with the broken dog tag that only reads Vers, so they assume that that's what her name is, and that's just what they call her. When she's at Maria Rambeau's house looking through all those pictures and you have the other part of the dog tag, she probably puts them together and it's the light bulb on above her head like, oh, wait a minute, my name is Carol Danvers. And that's really when the things start to click in her mind and she remembers her real backstory. The other really big Easter egg, too, is that if you look at young Monica Rambeau here, she's wearing a very Captain Marvel comic book-inspired designed t-shirt, which is a super deep cut for the comics because Monica Rambeau is the original female Captain Marvel, not Carol Danvers. It is the weirdest, most complicated continuity, but what happened is that Carol Danvers was first called Miss Marvel for the longest time in the comics. They didn't start calling her Captain Marvel until the early 2010s. Quick history lesson, back in the 60s and the 70s, Marvel wanted to kill off the male Captain Marvel, Mar-Vell, but because they didn't want DC Comics to yoink back the Captain Marvel name from them so that they could call Shazam Captain Marvel again, they had to give the Captain Marvel name to another character that was in an ongoing title. Like they had to bookmark it essentially by saying, hey, you're the new Captain Marvel because we need to keep this in circulation. So during Amazing Spider-Man Annual number 6, Monica Rambeau got powers and just all of a sudden decided to call herself Captain Marvel. That's who they gave the name to. And at that time, Carol Danvers was still known as Miss Marvel. So this is way back during the 70s. Monica Rambeau's powers were really energy manipulation, but here's where it gets weirder. Her comic book origin had nothing to do with the original male Captain Marvel. She had no connection to him, she wasn't his friend, she never really interacted with him that much, and her powers didn't work anything like his or Miss Marvel's at all. So it was more of a legal reason for Marvel Comics to give her that name than a reason that made sense for her character. Later, what they did to try and fix that continuity problem, though, is they introduced the Genis-Vell character and gave him the Captain Marvel name because they wanted to give it to someone who had an actual connection to the original male Captain Marvel. So he took the name from Monica Rambeau, and Monica Rambeau started calling herself Photon, and obviously that is the connection to Maria Rambeau in the Air Force here, whose call sign is Photon. So what they're telling you here is that Monica Rambeau will probably be a hero in the future inspired by Carol Danvers here, a superhero like, wow, you look pretty fly. I want to be a superhero too someday. So even if she doesn't get powers, it just sounds like she will be a character in present day as an adult. They'll have to recast with a new actress, but somehow she'll be able to help Captain Marvel with whatever the plot of the Captain Marvel sequel is. And then, maybe they'll decide to give her powers, who knows. Whatever they do with the Monica Rambeau character, they'll just save that for the sequel, which I think at this point is a foregone conclusion, but it's still going to be a couple years away, so they're probably not going to start talking about that till the movie comes out, because you got to know the people that are going to be interviewing them for this are going to ask about Monica Rambeau. Like, are you intending to set her up? Is she going to be a big Phase 4 character in present day? Usually what Marvel says for stuff like that is they're like, yeah, anything is possible. Like, even if they haven't absolutely locked down the story for what the sequel is going to be, they probably have an idea for what they would do with her character. Here's the thing about Samuel L. Jackson saying that Captain Marvel can time travel, though. He said that during an interview, and it sounded like an offhanded remark. Samuel L. Jackson is a longtime comic book fan, so he does know his comics. He's not pulling that straight out of his ass or anything like that. But what I think he's actually referring to is that Captain Marvel's powers give her the ability to live way longer than other people. They kind of addressed that during another trailer where the Kree Supreme Intelligence, played by Annette Bening's character, tells her, "We remade you, you're stronger, you'll live longer." So it implies that she'll just age very slowly, the same way that Captain America, because of the super soldier serum, ages very slowly. I don't think that anybody is going to be quite like Thor, though. Thor is 1,500 years old, still looks like he's in his 30s. But a lot of people just heard Samuel L. Jackson say Captain Marvel can time travel and assumed that that meant that she would literally time travel to present day for Avengers Endgame, and I don't think that's exactly what's going to happen. I think she'll just go on living for the next 20 plus years until the events of Avengers Endgame, policing the Kree and Skrull part of the universe to make sure that their war doesn't flare up again and threaten the rest of the galaxy. Like, she's protecting Earth in outer space using her full powers. So hopefully that provides some context for that. I know there's still a lot of questions about the quantum realm, how they're going to use quantum energy, because that's an alternate means of literally time traveling because of the time vortices in there and phase shifting between realities like the Ghost does, only on purpose, whereas she couldn't control it until Janet Van Dyne Wasp helped her out a little bit. But if you have more questions about what's going on with the mechanics or the Easter eggs that you see in all these trailers, just leave them in the comments below and I'll try to get to them. This weekend, obviously, we got crazy more Super Bowl trailers. Disney bought a whole bunch of Super Bowl ads, meaning that one of them is probably going to be an Avengers Endgame trailer. They've already confirmed that there's going to be a Toy Story 4 trailer. There might be a Game of Thrones Season 8 trailer. Then after that, it's a mixed bag. There could be a couple other surprises. If there are other big ones that were not announced, I will totally make videos for them. Leave your requests in the comments below. I'll name a giveaway winner when I post a new Marvel video, so just look out for that. Click here for that other brand new different Captain Marvel trailer, and click here to learn all about why Ben Affleck is not going to be Batman in the next Batman film. Thank you so much for watching. Everybody stay awesome. I'll see you guys tonight.